Hi, hello, namaste friends. Welcome to our channel Ace Civil Engineer. For more interesting videos like this, please do subscribe and press the bell icon. So friends, in this video we are going to discuss about ponding effect of adjacent structures. Let's start. So friends, what exactly the lateral displacement is controlled by? Of course, this lateral displacement is basically controlled by the lateral stiffness of a particular building. That lateral stiffness is basically due to the shear walls or the lateral load resisting system, whatever has been provided in that particular structure. So in such cases, what happens, the structure tries to deflect when some seismic action arises. So nextly, in general, many buildings have two different parts, or else they have to be made adjacent to some other structure. At that location, what we do friends, we give some separation joint, hardly something like it is around some 30 to 40 mm. So in this case, what I have shown here, you will see some around the gap of 30 to 40 mm. What happens friends, this is some different structure and this is some another structure. We have simply given some gap of 25 to 40 mm in general, but we really don't know what exactly this implies to the existing structure. So in what cases do we give this separation gaps friends? So firstly, here this is known as the separation gap. So where do we usually give this friends? I have listed out some five cases where we generally provide this separation gaps. See friends, the first case what I can say is, when you see the plan of a particular structure, what happens, it may be some alphabetical manner. If you see that plan, either in a L shape or some M shape or N shape, many types of structures, even O shape, we do see many structures. So in such structures, what they do friends, for suppose if you are doing some L shape structure, they simply give some separation gap here, and hardly some 25 to 30 mm they do give. Or else when two adjacent structures are of different heights, then also we provide some separation gap. Or when the soil properties of two adjacent structures are different, then also we give the separation gap. Here one kind of soil, the other one is of different soil, and we have two different structures. So what happens, this behaves differently when a seismic action comes, and this also behaves differently during a seismic action. The other case is when two different masses within a same structure is there, then what we do, simply we make a separation gap, so that this can be separated and this can be separated out. And other case, what we see in many costly cities, what they do, they don't provide some lot of offset or setbacks. So they simply construct in a line, just leaving some 25 or 30 mm a gap, and they simply provide the new structure. So what happens exactly friends, we generally see many complications here. Something like, I will show you here. See friends, it is something like this. Before earthquake, two structures may be very proper and they look very safer. But when a seismic action comes, when an earthquake arises, what happens? If both the structures are of same property and so same natural frequency, everything is same. In such case, what we see some in phase vibration. So this is very ideal structure, and realistically, it is not at all possible. Because hardly we can try for it, but it is very much impossible in many structures, because they try to provide some mirror symmetry rather than similar structures. So in such case, this is quite impossible. And in other case, what happens, if it is not similar? So in such case, what happens friends, this vibration, this tries to vibrate in one way, and this also will try to vibrate in the other way. At such position, what happens, if you see this point, these structures are trying to collide each other. This is known as collision. So to avoid this collision, we do have to provide some sufficient design separation gap. So that gap is basically known as a seismic gap friends. So expansion gap is completely different from seismic gap. Expansion gap is only to facilitate some thermal expansion or contraction between two adjacent structures, but whereas seismic gap is only to give some clear space for both adjacent structures to oscillate. So if this is known as a seismic gap. Okay, so these seismic gaps we need to design. So friends, here we'll see four cases. In the first case, the overall height of both parts of the structures are same and the floor heights are also same. And in the second case, overall heights are same but the floor heights are different. If you see, these floor heights are different. And in the third case, the overall height is different but the floor heights are similar. And in the fourth case, the story heights are different and also the floor heights are also different, which are not matching to each other. So here friends, after studying many research papers, we have come to know that this is the most critical arrangement, where here what happens is the all the beams or all the floor levels are directly coming and hitting the column of the structure. So if you see this location, and also here if you are seeing this location also, what is happening, this beam is directly coming and hitting this column and this beam is coming and hitting this column. So this is very much fatal, and this may lead to some collapse of the adjacent structures. And also another case we'll see friends, where I have sorted out three cases, which is like this. Here I have sorted these three cases friends. One is both the buildings are similar in overall height and the floor height, but the masses are different. Here mass is different, and in this case buildings are of different story height and also they are of different overall height as well. And the third case is both structures are of different overall height, but whereas the story heights are similar. So if you see, after performing many analysis, these are the deformation shapes during vibration. These are the most critical situation. How it is like, the left side structure is moving towards right and this is moving towards left, so both are hitting each other. But here the worst part is the beams are directly coming and hitting the column at all the levels, if you see. So this is very much need to be avoided to avoid some major disaster. And if I have to give some order of fatality or order of severity, then I would be giving like this. This is the first priority case which you need to avoid, and this is second, and this is third critical. So first is greater than, second is greater than third. So we always have to ensure that both the structures either have to be in phase, or if they are unavoidable to maintain in phase, then what you have to do, you have to give a sufficient gap between these two structures. So if you give some sufficient gap, what happens, this structure will try to bend in one way and this also will try to bend in the other way, but still you will be having sufficient gap between them so that those will not try to collide each other. So in order to understand what exactly the design structural gap that you need to provide between the structures, we have some caudal guidelines. So those caudal guidelines are basically explained in two codes, both are of earthquake codes. So the first one is IS 4326 and the other one is IS 1893. This one is part 4 friends. So if you need these codes, so please join my Telegram channel, which you can see it below. So in that Telegram channel I have shared this codes, and also I have given the links in the description as well to download these codes. So let us go into what the guidelines have been provided in these codes. So these are the extracts which are taken from IS 4326 and IS 1893 friends. So let us see what it has been told in IS 4326 first. So here you can clearly see that the separation of adjoining structures, which is shown in clause number 5.1 of IS 4326, that he is asking to provide a separation joint between the adjoining structures whenever the story heights are different, or whenever you have the different dynamic characteristics, or having two different total heights. In such case we need to provide separation joints. And how much that need to be provided, it has been told in table 1. It's the first one in the table 1 is, if the structure is a box system or a frame system which is having shear walls, then you need to consider a minimum of 15 mm. And if the structure is a concrete moment resisting frame, then it need to be 20 mm. And if it is some moment resisting frame which is made of steel, then it is 30 mm. Why friends, here this dimension has been increased? Because steel has a more elastic nature, so it will tend to deflect more so during vibration. So that is the reason why the dimension has been increased, or the separation gap has been increased, as the lateral load resisting capacity is decreased. Now let us see what IS 1893 part 4 mentions. So I am referring to clause number 11.2, friends. In 11.2, he is asking you to provide a separation joint in between such kind of structures, which is equal to the amount R, which is nothing but the response reduction factor, which we use in calculation of horizontal seismic coefficient, that is AH value. So in that value, we must be considering this R value, that is response reduction factor, which is for concrete, for more special moment resistance frames it is 5, and for ordinary moment resistance frames it is 3, and for steel structures also we do consider 3 as a response reduction factor. So that R value you need to consider, that is R times the absolute sum of the maximum story displacements. So here if you see, I am considering the story displacement for this structure to be delta 1, and for this structure as delta 2. So then what would be this case, friends? Then you have to consider the maximum gap, whatever the gap you are providing, that must be equal to R times the absolute sum of this delta 1 plus delta 2. As per see here, the same has been mentioned, it is nothing but times the absolute sum of maximum calculated story displacements to avoid damage contacting when the two units deflect towards each other. So if this is deflecting towards each other, then you need to consider this delta 1 and delta 2. Whereas when here you have a relaxation in this gap value, that is when your floor levels are matching in both adjacent structures, in such case instead of R you can take it as R by 2 into delta 1 plus delta 2. At the same time you have to add additional 25 mm. So this is when floor heights are not matching, when you don't have equal floor heads. Here when you have equal floor heads, so this is the formula, friends, which you need to follow to give the clear gap between the adjacent structures. Hope you understood regarding this topic, friends. Thank you very much. That's all about this video, friends and family members. If you had any comments, queries, or if you had any topics in your wish list, then please do let me know by commenting in the comment section. I hope you liked the video. If yes, please do like it. I will be creating more interesting videos like this. Please do subscribe to get updated as soon as I keep posting videos. Share my video to all your friends and family members. Don't forget to press the bell icon.